Do, do, do. I shall keep that in. Okay. Ha-da-da. Hello. Welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow.
The Adventures of Liz and Rebecca. Yay.
We're right on top of each other. Look at that. Look at that. Hello. I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in really sunny and bright but chilly Brevard, North Carolina.
I'm Liz. I'm the minion there.
Your spinning is your thing is almost bigger than you.
Well,
it's perspective. She's not that small. So but hello.
I'm short, not that short.
Oh. Hello. I just knocked the table. It feels so weird to be filming on Thursdays, but that's really the best day to do it.
It is.
And yeah, it feels weird not to be going on Tuesdays, but there's so much happening on Tuesdays now. So we're here to check in for the week and let you know how things are going.
Yeah.
And we're both still tired. And come to Tuesday if you want to hear us rant about some of that. But we're still recovering, all that yummy stuff. But people come here to hear us talk about yarn and knitting and crocheting and stuff. So
I have lots to show off because last week I didn't show anything off.
And a reminder, last week we filmed on Wednesday and posted on Thursday.
Because I was getting a wisdom tooth out on Thursday morning.
After we finished filming, you're just like, people don't know why or what's going on. But you look like you're doing okay now.
Yeah, I don't have the chipmunk face anymore.
Okay.
It's gone. So.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a
So yeah, Liz wasn't here on Thursday because Liz was
I was taking the best
having
nap
oral
ever.
surgery. Yeah. So, but we're back to regular schedule, and you're recovered-ish.
Yeah.
And from that,
yeah,
yay. So while you didn't have much to show last week, and okay, when I do my thing, I'm going to be talking about Finish Your Frog at February.
Join Team Liz.
Liz is not participating. If anything, she's trying to start more stuff. So, come to the dark side. We have cookies.
We do. So, they're yummy.
Actually, I have a Valentine's donut left over from yesterday, which I will probably eat while you're talking. I was like, why is it making noise? Oh, it's the sprinkles are rolling around. It sounded like bees. I was like, ah! No, it's fine. So let's start with all the things you want to talk about. What do you want to talk about?
Well, first, I'm going to show off my new dresses. Because
I'm moving over because you might want to stand like here because you're perspective. Anyway,
I made this one last weekend. I don't remember. It's flannel. It's so comfy.
It's warm. I'll touch it before I eat my donut.
So it's plaid. It's my happy place. And then last year I bought Valentine's Day fabric for a Valentine's Day dress that I never got even cut out. And so this year...
I thought the fabric looked familiar because you bought it. Okay.
I'm going to not flash everybody. There's a dress on underneath.
She's going to raise her outer layer.
This is my Nomies.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the new stitch stoppers that aren't in yet that we can get will match that.
Yeah. It's a lot of pink. And I've worn it all week. Yeah.
But you're not wearing it on the outside.
Yesterday I wore it on the outside and it was very, very pink.
It was okay.
Yeah.
But you were like,
it was a lot. So I made 2 dresses. I have been working on my brother-in-law's blanket. And I have all but like 3 of the stripes.
If you need help, I need to clean my hands off.
Oh, no, these are they're all put together. The stripes are all but 3 of them are put together.
Sweet.
And when it is done, it will be a Texas flag. And I got a star big enough to put on it. So,
boop.
Yep. Boop. So I left ends really long because I'm going to sew it on. Anyway.
That's really cool.
So that's coming along. And then I've been making Rolegs out of my, I'm blending my own fiber combination to spin and make a sweater or a cardigan. And so these, I'll pull the blue ones out because they're my favorite.
The bluey teal.
They're bluey teal. So it's like the color in them is the silk. And then it has Polworth, roving, which is the sheep, and cashmere, which is the goat. And
oh, so the color's in the silk
the
stuff.
color is the silk, yeah.
Even though some people may have heard you talk about this a bunch of times, we have people who haven't watched every single episode because we're nearing 400 episodes without counting the VSCs where we're selling stuff. Can you explain what a rolag is?
This is a rolag. It's a long.
What did Marin call them? Like a fiber taco. Or taquito.
Taquito. Yeah.
Like a churro almost or something.
Yeah.
Taquito.
So I have a blending board that's a big square rectangle thing, and I put all my fibers on it, and then I roll them off with 2 knitting needles because the dowels I don't have handholds. Anyway, side tangent that way. But so the Polworth roving is white, and the cashmere is a slight creamy color. And I was like, okay, I want my sweater to have color, not just be a white sweater, because then I'd look good in everything I ate. But
I thought you were just going to say you look good in everything.
Everything I eat, yeah, especially with a white sweater. So I decided that instead of dyeing, because I've not played with dyeing and I'm kind of scared of it.
Dyeing is how I hear that.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I decided to use this silk as the color. So like it's gonna get where the silk is more, it's gonna be like tonal in between. Like
that's
some
cool.
parts
and
are gonna
pulling
be...
it like that doesn't mean you've destroyed your rolag, right?
No, because you actually have to pull it to spin it.
I don't spin, so I ask these questions for you all who don't spin at home.
Yeah. So I brought them in to play with because I'm getting bored with the spinning that I have at the shop. I did all this. And then I'm doing this. And this is how much left I have. And
that has sparkle in it.
It has sparkle in it. I'm not a fan.
And yet she's still spinning it.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Like, everywhere.
Even though you're not a fan.
I'm not a fan.
I have to go clean my hands off, so keep talking.
I bought it for another project, and it is a lot of sparkle, so I don't know what I'm going to do. It'll eventually be a project, but right now it's just going to be singles.
What do you mean by singles?
Singles means that it's just been spun once and hasn't been plied.
So it's a single, like, it's a single ply, but it's a single piece that might get plied together or something. Like, if you, like, for people who aren't as familiar, if you look at some yarns, there's a bunch of plies all spun together to make, like, we have Heritage and then Heritage 6 now. And Heritage, which is a fingering weight, is 4 plies. And Heritage 6 is named that because it's 2 more plies of the same base stuff. And it becomes 6 plies. And it's a sport weight then, and it's squishier. So
right now, this is closer to Noro, which is 1 ply. Noro's plies are kind of like spun like, so it's not a very tight spin.
And a lot of hand spuns are a little or they're like super fine.
Yeah,
like,
the thing with plying yarn is if you want a fingering weight, you have to spin, and you want it more than 1 ply. You have to spin the plies thin enough that when you blend them together, it comes out the thickness that you want.
Yeah, and that takes a lot of practice, I would think.
No, I don't like little thinny. So, like, my hair comes out more chunky or bulky.
Is that multiple plies, or is that...
It's 3 plies.
Okay.
Yeah. So, there's that.
We are all learning today, because I don't...
And
I try to pay attention.
One of these days, I'm going to sit you down with my nano, and we're going to spin.
I get both those feelings inside of, I know, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last thing...
Don't lose
is
your
the
stitches.
sweater that I frogged part of last week. it does not count for finisher for February.
Because she didn't frog it, like, for good.
Yeah.
She pulled stuff out and redid it.
I've gotten that far. Oh, that looks really
Oh,
cool.
that looks really good on camera. Look at that. It's, like, fuzzy here, but it's fuzzy. But it's got a really cool... Oh, that's so pretty.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? This is something that she's not going to be able to tell you how to do necessarily. But
it is a Norwegian snowflake sweater, and the pattern's written bottom up, and I turned it upside down. We're not going to discuss the pattern name, only because I'm not going to, deal with that.
Contact her directly.
Not in a bad way, just it.
If you don't know how to tackle reversing just the direction of a pattern, you may not want to tackle that.
I'm doing this was her first pattern.
Squirrel.
So this is the chart. And what you see as black is supposed to be the white. And what you see as white is supposed to be the dark color for your sweater.
Which makes a lot of people's heads pop
So
off.
not only am I doing the chart upside down, I'm doing it from top down, which will throw people's brains in a whirl. It throws Rebecca's in a whirl. But the fact
Even
that...
mine. Although mine is not as good as it used to be right now.
The fact that the colors are reversed on the chart is mind melting. So
it takes a lot of focus and concentration.
I don't necessarily recommend this pattern. Like, I like this pattern, but
if your brain can't easily flip stuff like that, it might be like exhausting.
Yeah. So I've done several of her patterns, and she's got like the charts done correctly for her newer patterns, but this is like one of her first sweaters. So it's not for the faint of heart.
All right.
Yeah.
And I want to say that your shawl on the table is the same place it was last time.
Same place it was last time, because I keep swirling. I did start another sweater that I did not bring over. That's Project 191. But there isn't like a whole lot done on it because I started it when I was kind of high on oxys, and
because you didn't.
I didn't want to do color work
when you're high on when you had oxys in your system.
Yeah, I was
from the oral surgery.
From the oral surgery, yes.
There was a reason to have them, and she's not on them anymore.
No.
So,
no.
No,
I didn't want to do color work and
I don't recommend
wind up frogging on camera again. Like,
all right. Well, okay. So
tag, you're it.
Okay. Let's go stick is when you're doing a relay. It's like you tell people when to start running and you say stick when you're about to hand them anyway. Neither here nor there. So I'm going to update on how my finisher frog at February, because I actually am doing finisher frog at February.
You are.
I am trying so hard not to start new projects. I've only started one new project, maybe, since the month began.
Join Team Liz.
I have picked out yarn for 2 more new projects, but I'm trying not to start them. And I have also... I have plans for half of the yarn that I frogged. So, I forget what I updated you on last week, so I might just have to review things. I'm pretty sure I showed people this last week, right?
Yep.
I finished my sock head hat. I don't know. I don't think I was done with this. I don't know. When did I finish this?
You might have been...
I finally finished the Sasquatch is not in the original pattern, but I don't think I showed anybody the like loose and floppy that this has become.
Oh, you were almost done.
I was almost done. So the Washington hat has deer and mountains and trees, and I'm like, that kind of works for where we live too. And then it was Celtic Mom or something like that on Ravelry. Look in the projects. She replaced the deer with a Sasquatch. So on the other side, because there's 2 repeats of this pattern, I put a Sasquatch, and I think that is just adorable. But I'll put it over my little headband here. It's like a slouchy hat when it's done for me. with my gauge because I didn't test my gauge. So it's still super cute, and I can put my Sasquatch right there. Ba-doom! Right? Because the beginning of the hat, which I haven't... Ooh, got caught on my dragon that I'm wearing today, too. I haven't sewn the ends in yet, is where the deer is. So that ends up in the back if I put it on to show people. So this is the Heritage 6 I was talking about, and this was my sample to show off the Heritage 6. So this is another finish. I have finished 3 things so far in February. Not that I actually none of these were started in February. The next thing I'm going to show you, I started on January 31st. And
so technically,
but it was really fun to get it done like early on in February. So, but Heritage 6, nice and squishy. I'm not saying you have to make a crazy intricate hat like this out of it, but it is lovely. It is not online yet. Contact us if you're interested in certain colors or ideas for it. I'm almost feeling like I have enough energy to start putting things online, but I don't want to make promises I can't keep. So, so this is the second finish for my Finish or Frog It February. And let me remind everyone, this is our second annual Finish or Frog It February. And the idea is to assess your projects. It's not like you have to finish all your projects on needles in February, unless you're a monogamous knitter and you're close to being done. But it's a chance to kind of like look at all your works in progress and do a spring cleaning, kind of. I know it's still winter, but say, what of this brings me joy and what of this, honestly, am I never going to finish? I have a handful of things that I am struggling with right now at home. And I've brought in at least one today. But, so I put things in 4 categories, and I think I'm only going to use 3 this time. I put things in, I'm not going to finish it, so I'm going to frog it, and chances are repurpose the yarn. We'll see. There is finish, things I'm actually capable of finishing, and my energy's not great this month, so actual finishing may not happen to a whole lot of things. And then there's pledging to finish, saying, no, I do love this, or I want to finish this someday. So looking at it and saying, giving it some love in the bag, and maybe a couple rows, but saying you will not be languishing forever. And then there is binding off where it is. That this is the 4th category that I did a lot last year, but I may not really do this year. I don't have as many projects this year. Last year I had 60 projects on needles in February, and I got down to 30 on needles through frogging, finishing, or binding off.
Well, and over the course of the year, you only increased by 10 left on needles.
Yeah, I mean, I started a lot of things and I finished a lot of things. So, yeah, because when I kind of took stock, there might still be a few other things floating around. When I took stock after the virtual sit and stitch this Sunday, when I put as many projects as I can out on the table, I wrote everything down as I was moving it off the table, and I also counted the things I'd either finished or frogged before that sit and stitch. And my number for the shop, I have a few other personal projects that I'm not quite counting in this count. I had about 40 on needles. And I don't think I'm going to quite be able to cut that in half. But I'm trying to keep an eye on time too. But I don't think I'm going to be able to finish or frog or bind off, because I'm not really binding a lot off for shop samples right now. There's things I'm done with or I want to finish. I don't think I'm going to be able to do something with 20 of those, but I have frogged 4 now. I have finished 3. I'm about to show you the 3rd thing I've finished. I have about, counting this morning's, which I haven't moved over. I'm actually trying to catalog and move things around on our Sun Dragon Artandfiber.com website. With the page, it's FIOFIF, because finish or frog it February makes the acronym FIOFIF. The FIOFIF page, I'm trying to have everything listed there and the yarns I'm using and stuff. I think I'm up to 8 that I've pledged to finish at this point, and I might not have them all here today. But so my 3 finished. I've got 2 hats I just showed you, and then the See My Vest Chunky that that I started this January 31st because I was like, ooh, I really want to do something with the Nora Rika. And then I was making such good progress on it because it's on 10.5 needles.
10.5 needles.
That I said, let me just finish it. And there's no sleeves. So, yay. So, this is what it looks like.
It is gorgeous.
It's so pretty. It's the... it's color number 11, I want to say. It's a color that was back ordered when we first got the Rika in, so it may or may not be on the website. If you don't see it there, or if you're not sure which color it is, contact us. It's sticking to my velvet right now, like the...
Oh, yeah.
The static.
The static is real.
And I've got fuzzies all over my velvet now. I'm going to have to borrow your gleaner probably, because
Yeah.
I don't know if I have my gleaner here. But I had 200-gram skeins, and this is all I have left. It is just under 50 grams. So I used over a ball and a half, but not quite 2 balls. I made it longer, like hers was probably going to end like here. But just to show you, oh, it's totally sticking to the velvet. That's funny. I'm going to have hairy velvet when I'm done with this.
I have a gleaner.
I know. But, so here is the finished. Isn't that cute?
It is really cute.
It is so cute. I don't do a lot of vests, but I could see wearing this over and, you know. So the pattern's Canadian, and not saying that to be like, oh no, it's Canadian. No, it's that she wrote it for a 7mm needle, which is found outside of the U.S. a lot more than inside. It in the U.S. that would be a 10.75 or 10 3/4 needle, which you don't find in most yarn shops. And so I tried gauge. I'll keep this on until I'm going to try another thing on. I tried gauge with a 10.5 because a 10.5 is a 6.5mm. And an 11 in the U.S. system is an 8mm. So I tried gauge with the 10.5 going a little smaller. And it was a half stitch smaller, 13 stitches instead of 12.5 for 4 inches. Which is like going up to an 8mm, my gauge probably would have been super wonky.
Yeah, you went down 0.5 millimeter instead of going up a whole millimeter.
A whole millimeter, yeah. And so I had to go... Like, I did the math that going up a size with this, and the instructions would actually get close to the size I wanted. It might still be a little small. That half inch, or half stitch over 4 inches. You might be like, that won't be a lot. Like, especially when the first thing I did with gauge that I was totally off on, it was a half stitch over an inch, and that will add up quickly. But a half stitch over 4 inches will still add up when you want something. What?
I'm just looking.
When you want something to be like something to come out like 48 inches or 49.
When you have 3 stitches per inch, because I just measured one place, and it was 3 stitches per inch. Half a stitch every 4 inches is gonna...
And 3 stitches per inch, actually that means my gauge loosened up as I went. Because that's 12 instead of 12.5. That actually means my gauge got bigger, potentially. So I'm just happy this fit. I put a couple extra stitches on the underarms, but I wanted it a little roomy. Like, it might look a little big right now, but it like, a vest needs to go over stuff. And I didn't want it to be too tight. So that's funny that it's like, that my gauge got bigger. Which happens. We've had people whose gauges got smaller, right? Because 3 stitches per inch. I'm looking at the is 12, whereas I was getting 13 on my swatch. Which also, when you knit in the round, sometimes your gauge shifts from when you're knitting flat. And this was knit flat and then in the round. So my gauge down here, when I'm knitting in the round, might have been bigger. Which is okay for roomy size and stuff. Like right now, we all see different things when we look in the mirror. I'm looking at this right now and I'm like, I'm huge! I'm not really huge. Well, but I'm not really super skinny either. So, anyway. So, let me go through things that I frogged. I frogged the blue shawl that made it through. Some things that made it through last year did not make it through this year. So the local Yarn Store Day shawl. Shout out to Robin, who was like, you don't have anything this color in the shop. So continue to make it last year. It's a gorgeous blue in Cascade 220. I have plans to make the Cloudberry, so I'm going to repurpose it and make something else. I want to make cables with it because the other 220 that I have on needles, I'm doing cables and I love it. So I have plans to make another wrap with that, and I think I mentioned that last week because I think I remember showing this off. Anyway, I'm going to repeat some stuff, but I'm also going to try to pick up the pace because we have 10 minutes till the shop opens. Let's see. I think I showed you all the glimmer last week. I frogged a shawl I had started on the last few rows of a Melanie Rice shawl, and I love Melanie Rice's patterns. It's not because I have a problem with the pattern. It's because I was never going to get it back on the needles and finish it because I'd ripped the needle off to use for something else, and it was like a 400 stitch bottom of the shawl. It gets smaller as you go. But this is the same color as the body of my Mountain Mist sweater. So that can be repurposed, right?
Yeah.
So this I'm going to finish someday. It's at the mindless knit part. I don't want to say boring, but I need to be where I can do mindless knitting to finish it. I was doing a bag from Pom Pom in Zoe. And I love these colors, and I love Zoe. And I think it would be great for a crochet bag because it's cotton and linen. It's got good structure to it for something like needs to be durable. But I was never going to finish it, let's be honest. I'd like to find a different pattern for it. So, and I showed the glimmer last time for the 4 things I frogged. The glimmer may just end up in mini bags of mystery because the yarn's not being made anymore. So, those are my frogs, keeping all my frog yarn together. On the pledge to finish front, like what I've showed off on Instagram. So if you're not on Instagram, and I might try these on at the end of the month to show you how they're all doing and maybe try to make progress on them, but there's a lot of projects. We got the Mountain Mist. We have what I showed off this morning on camera, and I've done a handful of more rows on this. This is the second time this has made it through the gauntlet and stayed in the I will finish it category. This is the Room with a View shawl, and I just love, I'm finally at, like, it was hard for me to get to the part where the fun stuff happened because all these garter rows.
You enjoy a complicated.
Yes, and so now I'm in the complicated part, so I'm like, I have to finish this. Her sample of this, she did 4.5-ish repeats of this top boxy pattern. I am almost halfway through the 3rd repeat. So the end is in sight. It's just the rows are getting long. So, and I love doing stuff with color changing yarn. In fact, I just started another mosaic shawl. This is Room with a View by Lisa Hahn. And again, I may not have the brain power to put this all in the description words. So, like, ask us if you're like, you said that too fast. This is the Dark Matter shawl by Cheryl Faust. She is like a master of mosaic, and it was just published, and I'm like, I have to make this. It's another fingering weight. It's going to take me forever. But it starts with the fun stuff right away. Ha ha ha. So I'm using another Perth colorway with a nice cream to have it pop. I'm really excited about this too.
Did you start that pre-February, or
no,
was
I
that
started
a join Team Liz?
That was a join Team Liz, but I'm counting it on my list of things in February, and it's going to be moving to the pledge to finish because I just started it. To show you all, I'm not going to try it on today because I don't have time to put things on barber cords. I don't even know if I have time to show you everything because we need to open the shop soon. But I've made a little, like, I really want to finish this month. It's going to take a while.
She was trying so hard. You got through a whole stripe?
I got through a whole stripe of this. So I'm like 7 inches past sleeve separation on my Dingley Dell. It's getting there. I think if I do a stripe a day, I can get this done before the end of February. It's only February 15th now. But this is getting there. I pledged to, well, we're going to have to wrap up. So I'm going to show you one more thing. There's a handful of sweaters I brought in that are in the Pledge to Finish category. Oh, I'm going to get caught in my... I'm wearing my dragon ear cuffs, and he's like, yarn! Arr!
Our dragons like to eat yarn.
Our dragons like to eat yarn. But a lot of my other projects are big, or even if they're small, they're mindless knitting, and they're on teeny tiny needles, so it's going to take a while to finish. But I did... The other thing that I can try on for you all, and I'm like, ooh, it's like a partial finish, is I finished the bottom of my Goldwing by Jennifer Steingass. And one of the sleeves is actually still connected to a ball of yarn. But I finished the bottom of this, so let's see how that went. So only the sleeves to go on this guy. Barocco Ultra Alpaca. This is from our autumn make-along last year. And I do want to finish this. And that dragon's going to get caught, so I'm going to take him off.
He was trying.
He was trying so bad. Oh, thank you. So...
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that pretty?
That looks gorgeous.
This has a very different fit than the other thing. The other thing from our autumn make-along that I finished was the Koivua by Caitlin Hunter, and that had a much boxier fit. This has a little more of a fitted fit, and I think I've gotten a little bigger. So then when I was calculating things, so it's fitted, but I really like, I'm sliding over because my shawl's in the way.
No, you're fine.
I really like the length on this. Like,
yeah,
my pants would probably be around here if I was wearing pants instead of a dress. Like here's my belly roll right here. And it comes a few inches below my belly roll where the pants like to slide to, right? So, yay. Shout out to Susanna. She is waiting to see how my sleeves go. Because the sleeves are kind of long on this. I think my plan right now is to do my decreases, whatever my size says for a decrease. I am going to decrease every 6 rows. I'll probably decrease every 5. I'll probably get through the decreases faster to give myself playroom because there's color work at the bottom of the sleeves on this. But I'm really excited with, I may not get the sleeves on, I don't know how much more I'm going to be able to do with this in February. But I pledged to finish it. And I'm so excited the bottom's done. Yay!
it looks so good.
Thank you. So, yes, on that note, we have to open the shop. Because sometimes people come knocking right away, and sometimes they don't. February is kind of a slow month, a weird month, hard to predict month. But we hit 1850 for subscribers, so we're getting so close. We are 150 subscribers away from 2,000, and we're not going to have as blowout of a sale at 2,000 as we did at 1,000, because we were trying to hit a big benchmark there. But we could still give you all a sale if we get to 2,000 subscribers. So tell your friends and neighbors to subscribe to our channel if you have already. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And yeah, anything else?
Like, subscribe, ring the bell.
All the fun stuff.
All the fun stuff. If you have any questions for Dear Becky and Lizzie.
Yes, we will. I mean, Thursday has become everything. It used to be Tuesday was check-in. Wednesday was advertising yarns for sale. And at some point we'll get, watch us for sales, because we'll have sales on everything instead of specific yarns. Someday we'll get back to specific yarns, or we'll talk about them on Thursdays, because we're dragon now after, not dragon like this guy, but dragging after the COVID in December. But at some point we'll try to do what we can, but for now, we really have to scale back and not pile back on again. So Thursdays were to get back on track. Thursdays were Dear Becky and Lizzie, and now Thursdays are kind of a mishmash of all of that. So if you have things that you would like to ask about, please still ask, and you're going to email
Liz@sundragonartandfiber.com.
And we're only doing one virtual sit and stitch a week. That is Tuesdays from 7 to 8. As we're able to, we could expand upon that, but just keep that in mind for right now. That is on Zoom on Tuesdays, so we're not filming the day of it to let you know it's happening. But keep your calendars on for Tuesdays, 7 to 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Zoom, and you get in with a shop phone number.
828-877-3550.
And I think that's everything, so we are going to bid you adieu, and we're going to go see what happens at the shop today.
Bye!